Welcome to this Let's Play. We're playing the Wheel of Time Mud. My name is Johannes Bertens, also known as Mantas or Sandra on this game. This is a text-based game based on a series of books, The Wheel of Time, but of course you knew this, otherwise you wouldn't have ended up here. This game has been running since 1993, I'm just reading here. That's a really long time. Well, let's get into it. First you have to pick a name. The name has to be a bit of role-play-ish. Doesn't have to be very strict, but there are some things that are not accepted. Big Bad Bastard is one of the examples that would not have been accepted. Also, only the first letter is capitalized, the rest is removed. Create a secret passphrase here. It can consist of a string of words or just one long word or, well, whatever you want. Select your sex, race and homeland. I suggest going with human. If you're starting out, Trolloc is also fun, Sunshine is fun. The homelands, well, they don't matter now because we're taking a pre-rolled stats, but you can read into it later. And we picked Hunter because I like hunters. Warrior is also a very good first one. Don't go for a male or female channeler. They're just a bit rougher, a bit harder to gain experience on. And male channelers are hunted because the timeline of the books is about up to book number 3 or 4, I guess. I'm not gonna spoil things, though they're pretty old books now. But yeah, male channelers, they are hunted. Once you enter the game, you get a lot of information. You enter up in the Circle of Light. It sounds a bit biblical, but that's also where you end up when you die. So better get used to it. Tell Guardian Kit, so you can tell characters or non-player characters things. And if you tell the Guardian Kit, you get some equipment. Then we go down, 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 down. And here's Clive. He's going to, well, tell us a lot of interesting things about the game. So I say tips and it will give me some tips here. I also turn on echo because I really like to say exactly what is happening. No, see exactly what is happening. So if I say something instead of it just saying, okay, I'm interested in what happens here. Let's see who else is on. Well, there are a lot of people on. Well, what you see here is not exactly what happens when you first log in the game. Well, it depends on your setup. So I'm using Mudlet here with Adele's package. Sounds a bit interesting, but it's a combination of different scripts and a very, very good map. So on the right hand of the screen you can see the map, and the right bottom you can see, well, all the communications get logged in there, because sometimes it gets lost in different things going on the screen. And I'm following the tips that Clive is mentioning here. There are quite a few, well, 2 other players here in this zone, so close by. Too bad I can't yell at them yet. That would have been funny. Don't attack. Well, you can attack other players if you want, but it's not the best idea to do this at level 1. Also, there are consequences to actions, and newbie killing, so that's what we call killing lower level players like level 1 or 2, or even actually anything below 20-ish, I would say. It's frowned upon, so just don't start off with doing that, or just don't do it at all. So it has the game has a day and night cyclist. If it's night, it's dark, and you can't see in the dark as a human. You can as a Trolloc, but not as a human. So you need a lantern. Luckily, the starting kit has some lanterns, and you can get them out of your pouch. I notice here that I didn't record what was happening there, but I changed the separator for commands from double, what is it called? Well, double to single of the dot and comma. Something I'm used to myself. So what did we do here? We actually went south a bit, so you can see on the map what room we are. And we're killing saplings. Saplings are, well, they're great practice trees to swing your quarterstaff at. And the more of them you kill, the more experience you get. And the goal is actually in the early levels to just gain experience. That's pretty much it. During this playthrough, we're also going to equip ourselves with some better equipment, but the starting kit is up until level, I think 5 or 6, what we're going to be using. It's not bad. Mostly the weapon is the most important thing, and the quarterstaff's okay to start with. So this is what's called statting, actually. So if you reach level 3, you get your statistics, stats, your base, strength, int, will, dexterity, constitution. Those are the, well, you can see them here. We have pretty good strength actually. 18 is really good, but the rest it's really bad. If it's so strength you want high, I would say, as a hunter. So 18 or 19 would be best. 17 is okay, and dex would be nice if it is 17, 18 or 19. And it says what your hit points are based off. It's better if it's higher. So we went with the pre-rolled stats. What I did is I told the Guardian pre-rolled stats, and then I get this 18 for strength, 17 for dex, and 19 for con as a hunter, which is pretty good. Now we're killing a lot of more saplings just to gain some experience, because well, if you're a higher level, you have more hit points, you get some practices, which we'll do later to learn some skills. One of the more important skills early on, or two of them actually, are dodge and your weapon. So we have a two-handed weapon, and two-handed weapons, they give us parry. So we have an OB of offensive bonus. That's how much chance we have of hitting something. So you see here that everything that's white, we miss them. It says a sapling swiftly dodges your attempt to strike it. If you have more offensive bonus, you're more likely to hit them. We got lucky here. 5 times in a row. Yes. Because I messed up the sound the first time recording this video, I'm now also looking at what's happening because it's been a few days. But yeah, so what you see here is that once you reach level 5, the saplings, they get a bit finicky, as in they go away once you kill 1 or 2 of them. I think it's introduced because then you don't see people just botting their way up till level 10 or 20. So botting, it's a term if you're using a lot of scripts to do things, and most specifically if you're not at the screen yourself. So you're okay with using scripts. That's it's fine, it's allowed, but you should definitely be at screen, and the scripts shouldn't take over everything. During this playthrough, I am using scripts or something that would fall under this. For example, to show the communications in the bottom right. That's a script that actually looks at the text that's coming in, looks at the communications, and then copies them to a separate window for me. But as you can see, probably also when I make some typos, pretty much all of it is done myself. And well, a lot of things can go wrong if you script your behavior on this mud, because for example, if you attack non-player characters inside a city, so if I would have, instead of looking at the crier or giving things to the town crier, I would have attacked it, that would have been the end of my character, because then well, pretty much everything inside this city would aggro me, would attack me, and I would die really quick. So, going to this park here in Camelin, we are practicing how to ride horses. Riding is a essential skill as a human, because you get really tired really quickly. Level 4 ride, so 57% upwards, that makes sure that if you're leading a horse that it doesn't run away, or that at least you can just have it follow you for a while. I also took level 1 survival. Survival is not an essential skill, but it does give you the ability to butcher animals with your dagger. In this case, I'm switching my rusty dagger for a stiletto. Stilettos look better and they're a bit lighter. We also took a look at what's in the barrel at Camelin Central Square, CCS. Sometimes there's useful stuff in there, sometimes it's empty, sometimes it's only filled with big slabs of meat, which you can eat, but only so much. Now I headed towards the inner palace. There's a warrior practice, it also says so on the map. And the warrior practice makes me, or enables me to practice my skill with staves. So that will give me more offensive bonus and more parry bonus. Now I'm going to the thief practice, or the rogue practice. It's down here. You have to knock the trapdoor to get in. And if you practice dodge, well, you're less likely to be hit by all kinds of enemies in this game. You have to knock the trap again to get out, because it's a locked secret trap. Ha! So I did a call there, because sometimes, well, actually at night, or if there was a criminal inside of Camelin, the gates will lock and they only open if the gatekeeper opens it for me. Here I am looking for a horse, and I found this great spotted horse. They're pretty bad, actually, spotted horses, but, well, any horse is better than none. There's this, especially at lower levels, it's interesting to see the consider command. There you can see the game does a little calculation of what your chances are, what your odds are of winning towards this particular animal. It's not really reliable, so it said I would need a lot of luck. Well, I just kill it in 3 hits. It doesn't take into account your equipment, so in this case, because we're using a quarterstaff and we're riding a horse, we have pretty good chances of killing things. Riding a horse also gives extra offensive bonus, because for some reason it's easier to hit things when you're on a horse. It lowers your defensive bonus a little bit, but most of these animals don't really hit back, and if they do, they don't hit back for much. We're here just gaining some experience to get some more practices, and, well, if you're, I think it was, well, the goal is of course to get higher level, say level 30 or something. That's where the game gets really interesting, because there you can join groups of killing larger foes, like we call it smobs, super mobs, which have a pretty decent chance of loading you some nice equipment. And you can also start with the player killing and join a clan, for example. Clans are groups of players who, well, if you look at the books, most of the cities have their armies or their guards, and most clans in this game are tied to a city, and you can defend the city or defend the city's honor and actually just band together and do fun stuff. Yeah, and in this particular recording we are going to get to level 10, I think it was, because at level 10 you can pretty consistently kill some ancient trees, and these give pretty decent experience per kill. So then you can get a bit higher again. And because we can kill an ancient tree, at the end we will get a nice new weapon. And along the way we have some quest giver mobs, quest giver non-player characters. And if we fulfill the quest we get something in return. So here I got, or actually the horse got attacked by a few turtles, and I was able to flee out of that. So the F or the flee command, it's essential sometimes. I'm now killing some more saplings, even though they break off or they go away. If you kill them at higher levels, you can still kill one or two of them. I'm here being followed by a raven, and ravens report your position to the dark side, to the Trollocs and Fades. So, well, you better just get rid of them. And you can get rid of them by going somewhere and then fleeing. If you flee, they don't follow you anymore. This all is just south of Camelin. There's a lot of great lower level mobs to kill here for experience. The boars, they're a bit tougher to kill. I killed a few goats before, and those are pretty easy. Stags, some of my favorites. There's also a few coyote around here. If you kill them and you cut off their scalp and, well, carry that around with you, you can get some coin for them later. There's this fellow called Ross, a bit south of here, and that's one of his quests. So there are also a few global channels, if you will. So the way to communicate is to either chat or narrate. And I just turned them off here because we don't really care about that much at the moment. Of course, if you're higher level, you really want to pay attention to narrates, because narrates also are also used for player killing. So other people will say where the enemies are, or at least you can listen in to see if anything's going on and what kind of places you should avoid or just go to if you want to join the player killing. Here Ross is. I'm a young adventurer in need of some work. Of course I am. I'm also dead broke, so it's good to do these quests and the cryo quests as well, because they pay you for it, or they give you something else. In this case we're tasked of finding a carrot. Well, I know where it is. It's behind this farm here. We're just gonna walk through. The farmer and the farmer's wife, they don't really mind. There we are. Thank you, farmer. We're stealing your carrots. Now here also is a better horse, so normally it doesn't have exclamation mark more horse before it, but that's one of the scripts I created to better show me where horses are, so that I don't run past them without seeing it. Now giving the carrot to Ross and see what's going to happen. We also got followed by 4 different rats here. Rats, well, normal rats are pretty shy of people, I guess, but these rats, they're the evil dark side rats, and they follow people around and then also report their position to the dark side. And cats, of course, don't like rats, so cats usually kill rats, but in this case the cat got killed by the rats. And rats, they hide a lot, so you have to use notice to actually see them. We'll practice notice a little bit later. It's also what Ross is now explaining. Actually, he's explaining something about search. There's two different skills. One is notice, to actually notice hidden things, either hidden in the room or hidden, well, animals or players or other mobs. And search is something you can use to find hidden exits, hidden doors. I'm now picking the combo or equipment here. So there are three different styles. Actually, there are two different styles. So there's the absorption style. It now says your armor absorbs about 39% on average, which is not that great, but it's not bad. You can go up to 80, 85-ish, sometimes 86, sometimes 84, depends on the condition of your equipment. So the higher the level, the more damage, incoming damage, is absorbed by your armor. Like it's usually very heavy, thick armor that just absorbs a lot of the damage. You still get hit, but you get hit for a lot less. And of course, you regenerate health points every 30 seconds. So then you should be, well, it depends on, of course, what you're doing, but you should be able to get hit more, to withstand more hits than without the absorption armor. Dodge is a different type of equipment you can wear. It does not have a very high absorption quality, but it does increase your defensive bonus and parry bonus. So then you're evading and parrying the hits. If you don't get hit, it does 0 damage, so that's good. However, because your absorption will be low, if you do get hit, it does hit for a lot of damage. That's also why combo was, well, it's if you can't choose, you go combo. That's not really true, but it's more of a middle sort. That if you do get hit, you get hit for a bit less than if you were in dodge, but your defensive bonus and parry bonus are a bit lower than in dodge or in parry equipment. So it's in between. I think here it would have been better to pick for the dodge equipment if you're lower level. But because we're a hunter with 19 constitution and thus a lot of hit points, combo is pretty okay. This is here also, he says that scalp of a coyote gives me some money if we give it to him. Here I give him a scalp of a rat. And I create some aliases to make this easier for myself to scalp stuff. Now he also explains the notice. These little quests not only help you learn a bit about the game, but they also give you pretty decent equipment here. It's not the best, but it's really good for starting out. Yeah, so now Ross is a bit of annoying. He's throwing a throwing knife at me and says, "You should learn to dodge this." You'll see that I'm gonna try and fulfill this quest later, because then I need some more practices. I'm gonna get some more dodge, but spoilers, it's not gonna work out. I think it might have. That's also why I said going dodge here would have been better than going for the combo equipment. It might have helped if I had some dodge equipment, but this wasn't bad either. So here you see the coyote is barely hitting me when it hits me. It tickles or it barely hits. That's an added benefit for going for combo or either abs equipment. I got hungry, so when you're hungry you need to eat something, because if you do not, well, nothing happens at first, but you don't regenerate anymore, or regenerate at a very reduced pace. So hungry and thirsty both reduces your regeneration a lot. So if you want to ride a horse, you can just type ride and then the horse or the kind of horse you're riding. And if you want to get off, you dismount, which is abbreviated to dism. So with this, with mods in general, and especially also this mod, you can just type the first few letters of a command and it will execute the command. So the full command would be practice. I'm typing prac notice, prac search. You don't need a very high amount of search. I got for 58% here. It's enough for what I was trying to do. So I know there's a secret door down in the graveyard. And then, well, something is hidden there and we're gonna find out what it is. Here, your horse also has movement points. You don't see them directly because you only see your own movement points. Here we are, if you look at the prompt, so it's what started with the star, it's bottom of the screen. You have an R for being mounted, riding a horse, and then you have HP scratched, movement points full. HP could be healthy and movement points could be fresh, but this is really close. So the horse is haggard. That's a really low amount of moves. And then once every 60 seconds, or every tick actually, what it's called, the horse regains some moves. Yeah, you can't directly hit flying animals. It's possible to engage them by throwing things at them, or some things that some animals that follow you, you can go indoors and swing at them indoors. But yeah, you can't actually hit them if they're outside and flying. We're just taking it slow, going back to Ross and killing some animals on the way, because everything you kill you get more experience from. That's the main goal now. There we go. So there's actually a door, a non-hidden door, just a visible door going in there. That's the gate. And then we have the tombstone I should say, I guess. That's the secret door. Too bad the sarcophagus is empty. I think only once per reboot that is, it loads a sash, if I remember correctly. But in this case it's empty, so too bad for us. So this is the bounty on the coyotes. You get 2 crowns. Thank you, Ross. Now, of course I got some more dodge, so I was hoping that this would have worked out for me, but no. I'm going to try this again without riding a horse. So you see there's a 6 dodge bonus difference. It's all the little things. And in this case, you need to wait for Ross to stop speaking. Once he's done with speaking, he can execute the quest again. It's also a percentage thing. So here I was hoping that if I removed all, doesn't really help though. If I removed all, I would get a better dodge bonus. Doesn't work. Because I'm wounded, I'm now checking my hit points before eating another knife. Now I'm down to battered. The line between battered and wound is exactly halfway. So battered, you're below half of your life. And you need to be a little bit careful. Also when fighting animals, if you go to battered, it's time to pay close attention to your hit points. Stags, however, they're really weak, so you can pretty much always attack them. Here I change my auto wimpy. So if you do change wimpy and then a number, you can set your wimpy to, or actually that's called, well, it's a what amount of hit points you automatically flee. So if you get hit, and then after you get hit, your hit points are lower than this number, then you flee automatically. You don't have to enter the flee command yourself. But you can only set it so high. So there are different moods. I'm here playing in mood wimpy. I'm a wimp, it seems. There are 3 moods, no, actually 4. So you have wimpy, that's the mood which emphasizes your defense. You have normal, which is the less used mood in the game. I think most people don't use it at all. I don't use it. I usually don't use it. It's a more of a balance between offensive and defensive. And you have brave, which is a offensive mood. So you will emphasize on offensive bonus, and it reduces your parry bonus. There's also the mood berserk. It's the 4th mood. It's a risky one because once you change your mood to berserk, you cannot change it to anything else. So we'll stick in berserk for a long, well, until the combat is ended at least. And you cannot flee anymore. So your auto wimpy is automatically set to 0 and you cannot flee. There's no, if you enter the flee command, it will say, you're not fleeing, you're berserk. It gives an even higher offensive bonus boost and lowers your parry bonus even more. So it's usually a last act of desperation, except for warriors. So if you take the warrior class and you use the mood berserk, you can get some extra damage in. You can extra attack rounds actually. So here you can see every time I attack, the bobcat attacks, or the other way around, depends. We'll both attack the same amount of times. And if you use the attack skill or practice the attack skill, and you're in the berserk mode, you get more attack rounds. There are also a few weapons, notably the piercing and stabbing weapons. They always get extra attack rounds, so you don't have to be berserk. It works in any mood. You do have to practice it though. It's a special skill called attack. So here I'm killing some more saplings. I'm trying to get to level 10 on the saplings. And the timing here is important because if you stay in the same room too long after the sapling is dead, then the other saplings will, well, they break off, I guess. That's what the message is. But then you don't get no experience for it. So you really have to kill them. Yeah, this raven wasn't flying around, it was actually just sitting there watching me. So I swung at it and I killed it. And I took its scalp because there's the Camelin crier. Oh, it doesn't actually. At this moment I was thinking that it would give me a reward for raven scalps, but it doesn't. It only gives a reward for rat scalps. Here, this oil stone, it's also a reward from the crier. And it is used to mend weapons. So if you use weapons for a long time, they get scratched and then blunt, and then at some point they deteriorate and actually they break. But they do a lot less damage if they're scratched. With an oil stone you can mend them back. The oil stone is actually for bladed weapons, so swords, axes, anything that is not blunt, I would say. And the sandstone, which I also have, but I put it in my pack. It's for the blunt weapons, so for clubs and for staves. So now I'm trying to lure Cosimo into helping me. Actually, I just asked him to help me kill a tree. The ancient trees are pretty buff. They take a lot of hits to kill. And I need a scalp for it, or from it, for a better weapon. So Gamelin Central Square is actually a pretty decent place to find people. You can also use chat to ask if people want to help you out, or narrate, but chat is more used for this, especially at lower levels. Chat is better. But this is also a good spot for people to AFK, to walk away from their keyboard and just go grab a cup of coffee, or maybe do something else for a few seconds. Because it's a no hide, so you cannot hide there. Hide is also a skill that you can practice at the dodge or the thief practice. And you need to hide to be able to backstab with a decent chance of landing. So if you find a no hide room, that's an okay spot to walk away for a second, because you're not going to be stabbed, or most likely not going to be stabbed. It is possible, but a bit less so. There, yeah, he was AFK. But it seems we actually got this. So I'm fleeing off, just because then I can hit it again before it hits me. I failed at this, of course, but that was the plan. But, well, it's dying anyway. Yeah, flex is one of the social commands. So there are a lot of, at the beginning I did the command social. If you do it, if you type social enter, you get all of the social commands. It's a way of interacting with other players and sometimes non-player characters without having to talk about everything. So there's, for example, there's a lot of bowing going around. And some saluting, of course, if you're in a militaristic organization. And novices, they have to curtsy. There are some more socials there, but some of them can lead to very awkward situations. So take care. Because we gained some extra levels, we're also doing some extra practices here. Alright, yeah, because I got hit by that throwing knife all the time. I thought, why not sell them? And they actually sell pretty good. They sell for 8 crowns a pop, so Ross was doing me a favor by hitting me with those knives. Yeah, I'm putting it in the bank. You don't get any interest, sadly, but you do. Well, if you die in this game, uh, all your stuff, everything you have in your pack, all your equipment will be in your corpse. So yeah, if you get killed by someone else, or you're not back in time to your corpse, you lose everything. And banks are a way of storing your money safely. Nobody can. Oh, you can't actually rob a bank, so that's good. They're really secure. And also another added benefit is if you deposit it in one bank in a city, every bank in every other city will also have this money for you, so you can withdraw it anywhere. Come on, Ross. Throw another knife at me. Yeah, while my total defense did go up quite a bit, it seems my dodge is not high enough to dodge this knife yet. Yeah, Ross is a little bit annoying because you actually have to wait for him to finish talking. Here I hide my pack. Actually, I'm doing two things. I hide my pack and I leave the room, but it doesn't really work out for me. Seeing if there was any possibility of cheating out of this, but it doesn't. So you have to actually be in the room and dodge the knife, and then you get a reward, I guess. I don't really know what actually. Yeah, and I hit the pack because it's extra weight, and the more weight you have, the lower your defensive bonus. But if you do, then don't forget to get it back. Otherwise, you'll be halfway across the world and notice that you're without a backpack. So, onwards. We've been mostly around Gamelin here. It's somewhat central, and it's a really good place to start out. Because of the quests around it and the lower level animals to kill. And actually in this case the barrel is pretty filled, so we can get some upgrades for equipment from the barrel. Everything I don't use I'm just putting back in the barrel. In most cases any equipment put in any barrel anywhere is just, well, you can grab it, you can wear it, it's fine. Up north in Valdara, that's one of the northern cities where the forces of light often come together to fight the forces of dark. There you have to be a bit more careful of getting things from barrels, because usually that equipment is for the fallen. So if you die, then you can come back and see if there's anything there you can use and you can get it. But it's frowned upon if you go there as a starting player, as a newer player, and just grab everything. Also, sometimes people hide stuff or put stuff in barrels for others, but I would say it's a bad place to quote unquote hide stuff because, well, it's out in the open. So if you walk past the barrel and there's something in there you can use, yeah, just grab it. So I did not notice before this video, but these frightened young thieves, their scalps are also something the Camelin Crier is looking for. So the way the criers work is you can do every quest they have 5 times. The first time you get 5 crowns, 4, 3, 2, 1 for every consecutive one. So you get a pretty decent amount of money, but it's limited. So it's not an endless amount of money, but it's a good starting point. So here we have another quest mob, quest non-NPC. This one I really like that it gives you a nice upgraded weapon for the ancient tree scalp. It also explains that you get great experience from it, which is true. It's one of the mobs you can kill for a good experience. There are a few more, so grasses. They're also north of Whitebridge, so this town is called Whitebridge. North of Whitebridge there are some grass that they give a bit more experience. They're also a bit tougher. And there are some really high level mobs that give more experience, but well, we're not bothering with them yet. Here I'm picking the two-handed defensive fighter modus. You can actually get 3 different weapons from him, but you only get one, so you have to choose, but you can choose out of 3 different options. The hulking brute, I think he gives you a claymore, which is a two-handed long blade. One-handed defensive fighter, I think he gives you a one-handed medium blade, which I think it's a falcata, I'm not really sure. But a two-handed defensive fighter, you get this nice staff. It's actually a pretty decent staff. We can easily get to level 30 with this staff if we want. So some other equipment that we're missing is a cloak. So you can wear a cloak around your body, or a robe, or a mantle, but it's the same slot for equipment. And these rogues usually load one, so you can kill them for one. And these rogues, for some reason, they really don't like horses. They attack horses. So if you're in the room without a horse, it will attack you. But if there's a horse, they go totally berserk on the horse. So in this case, we're using this black stallion. This really poor black stallion. I'm sorry, man. But, oh, sorry, horse actually. But we're using it as a buffer to kill the rogue. This is also a really tough rogue. You can see in a little bit when it dies, I'm actually surprised that this is not the rogue I was expecting at this place. It does also not have a cloak, our only reason of killing this. But it does have a lot of other stuff. And 15 copper, well, that's always nice. So here I'm like, what? Where is that cloak? Well, we're grabbing her lantern. I think we're leaving the rest here. Might drop it off in the barrel later on. So we still have another horse, of course. We're riding a horse, the grey horse. We're waiting for it to attack our horse. And then we're using the horse again as a buffer. So you can also use the horse that you're riding as a buffer. But if you get a higher level ride, it's level 5 and upwards. We have level 4 at this moment. Then you will intercept any attack on your horse. Because usually you don't want your horse to die. Now, this horse will survive, of course. We're just, yeah, it took some hits for us. Thank you, horse. Here, now we have the cloak. Pah. And we're hungry again, because we have a low level of survival. We get hungry really fast. Maybe every 10 minutes or something. I didn't check. There's a lot of this kind of factual information. It's on the Botmut wiki. It has a nice overview of at what level you get how long it takes before you get hungry or thirsty. It's a really good source of information for a lot of things. And if you're a lower level, you cannot carry as much stuff as you could or can if you're a higher level. So just putting it all in the barrel to switch out some good equipment. Yeah, in this case, we're actually pretty much set. We still have those scalps to give to the crier for some money. Here I tried, or actually I gave both scalps at the same time, but I only get rewarded for one. So with town criers you have to be careful and only give them one scalp at a time. I actually got cheated out of some money, but it's okay. We can do that quest later again. Yeah, we got 55 gold crowns in the bank. That's not bad. So at Master Blacksmith you need 75 gold crowns, and then with 75 gold crowns you can hone your weapon, as it's called, and then it will give do more damage. Yeah, that's the end of this video. Don't forget to rent at an inn. If you type quit, you will lose all your equipment. That would be, well, that would be a waste of time, of course, because you have to get new equipment. See you next time.